Closure is a fucking scam, okay?
Wait a minute, the way you move that body, you done got my heart all in it. And I just wanna be with you tonight. Like please, I'm a player, yeah, it's true. But I changed the game for you, I wanna see what it do. Can I be for real? This is how I feel.
Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. It's Morgan Sierra and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. Like I said, my name is Morgan Sierra. I post beauty, fashion, lifestyle, and just fun content in general. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family. But if you are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for always supporting me. And yeah, let's go ahead and just get into it, okay? As y'all can see by the title, we're doing a what I learned in my 20s so far. I'm 25 years old and I love these type of videos. I've been seeing them around and I just had to hop on it, honey, because I love to talk and I love to share my experiences with y'all. I just thought this would be a very cute video to make. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also watch my previous video. I dropped a Sunday routine last Sunday and I'm back again this Sunday. Do y'all see me? Y'all see me? Okay, I just wanted to make sure y'all see me because I told y'all I was coming back, okay? Period. Also, before we start this video, I want to, start with a little beverage. Today, we're having water and ice, okay? Summer is coming up. I'm trying to be a little good, okay? Usually, I have a little drink in my cup, but we got some water today, so we're going to take a little sip. We're drinking water and minding our business, okay? That's how the skin stays clear. If you are over 21, go ahead and get you a drink. And if you are under 21, go ahead and get you a legal drink, soda, juice, water, something like that. So I have my iPad right here. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. And I have everything written down. It's a lot. We're gonna try to keep it real quick. So I put everything in categories so it can be a little easier for me. So let's go ahead and start with the first category. All right, so the first category that I have is mental health. Always put God first at your lowest and at your highest. That's just something that I learned from myself. I know everyone has different religions, everyone has different beliefs, but that's just something that I do for my mental health and just in general. Put God first. If you're having any problems, if you feel like your back is against the wall, if you feel like you just don't know what to do, put God first. Talk to God. If you feel like you can't talk to anybody, talk to God. I promise you, he's the best person to talk to. He's going to definitely help you with your problems. And don't just come to him when you're at your lowest. Also come to him when you're happy. Come to him when things are going good. Don't just ask him things, give thanks as well. But if you are in a funk, if you are in a depression, if you are just in a mood and you just feel like you have nobody to talk to, because that's how I am. I feel like people just don't understand me. And I also don't like to dump my problems on my friends and family. So I just always just go to God. I learned that's the best thing to do. He's not going to judge me. And I can just tell him anything. He already know anyway. And he always have an answer. He always will show you a sign and he always will guide you in the right direction. I ain't trying to be a preacher on here, but that's just what I do for my mental health. If you are going through something right now and you feel like you just don't know where to start, you don't know where to go to God. If you don't go to church, that's fine. I don't really go to church, but I do try to look up YouTube videos. Make the best out of what you have. The internet is free. So there are people on YouTube that you can watch. You can have church at home. You can have fellowship at home. There's ways around it. The second thing I have, which is very important, this is something that I just learned, I would say about a year ago, is that you cannot pour out of an empty glass. Like, literally, you see how this glass is full? So if you have another cup and you want some of my drink, I can pour you some because you see I have water in here. But if this glass was empty and you begging me to pour you something and I'm trying to pour and nothing is coming out, we both gonna be frustrated because I don't got nothing to fucking pour you. So this is very important that you know that you cannot pour from an empty glass. Sometimes you are the advice friend. You're the advice family member. You're the friend that's always there for your friends. You're the person that's always there for your family. You're there for your coworkers. You're there for everybody. But at the end of the day, you always have to take care of yourself first in order to be there for other people. There's nothing wrong with being there for other people. I love being there for other people. At the end of the day, I kind of neglected myself and people was just taking from me and I wasn't really getting nothing in return. And my glass was empty. My glass was empty and it was frustrating me that I couldn't be there for certain people or help certain people. But at the end of the day, I couldn't even help myself. So I had to really just sit back and like really evaluate what was going on. And I had to fill my glass back up. And I'm never gonna have my glass empty again. Like, baby, the glass is always gonna be full, okay? Because I can't be that person for somebody and I'm not being that person for myself. If I'm not good, nothing is gonna be good. My advice is not gonna be good. My energy is not gonna be good. So yeah, if people are trying to just take from you and you feel like you just can't give anymore, you need to create boundaries. That's another really good thing that I learned, is to create boundaries and just let them know, look, I ain't got it in me. I can't. I'm focusing on myself. I'm trying to get myself together. I really can't have your problems plus my problems. I just can't. Hopefully, if they really care about you, they can respect that. If not, fuck them. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry. Excuse my French, but that's just what it is. The next one is your peace is more important. This is a very, I'm gonna say this about everyone, but this is a very important thing that I've learned in my 20s so far, is that my peace is more important. My peace is more important than relationships. My peace is more important than friendships. My peace is more important than my family. My peace is more important than a job. My peace is more important than a career, than YouTube. My peace is more important than anything. It's God first, then it's my peace, because I deserve peace. My life has been chaotic, and I'm sure a lot of people's life has been chaotic. But at the end of the day, as I got older, I really value my peace, like my peace. I'm at where the peace is at. So if you see me with somebody every weekend or you see me with somebody every day, just know they are my peace. If I'm with my friends, they are my peace. If I'm with certain family members, they are my peace. If you ain't really giving me peace, you cannot be in my life. I'm sorry. I got to distance myself, because if you coming over here fucking up my peace, we ain't having that. My peace is more important than you. I'm sorry. So a relationship, a friendship, family members, co-workers, a job, anything, none of that shit is more important than your peace, okay? Period. So the next one I have is self-love and self-care is needed. I feel like I used to really just neglect myself. I used to neglect my self-love. I used to neglect my self-care. I didn't really do nice things for myself, but now I try to do nice things for myself all the time. Probably not every day, but all the time. And I find the enjoyment in the smallest things, whether that's filming a YouTube video. I love filming. I love editing. Whether that's watching a rom-com. I love rom-coms. So if I'm having a little movie night at home, that's self-care for me. I'm blocking out the outside. I'm just chilling. I'm vibing. And that is self-care for me. And I love myself. And there was times where I didn't love myself because I loved other people before me. And that's just fucking crazy. So self-love, self-care is very important. If you don't take care of yourself, start taking care of yourself. And you can start slow. I'm not saying you have to go to the expensive spa every day. You can start regular and just build things up. Like, spend some extra time in your skincare routine. Get you a nice soothing face mask. Get you some comfortable pajamas. Get you that robe you've been wanting. You know, buy you something that you've been wanting. You scrolling on TikTok, you got a wish list. Buy yourself something from that wish list monthly. Just anything that makes you feel happy inside that you can do for yourself, do it. Very, very important. And always love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't speak life into yourself, nobody else will. And you can't even be mad at them, because how they gonna love you if you don't love yourself? So yes, let's not play with ourselves, okay? Period. All right. So I have two more in the mental health category. If someone or something is making you feel worthless, let it go. And I actually seen this quote like a few weeks ago. And baby, it was at the right time. When I tell you, when I seen that, I was just like, yes, this is true. I started deleting numbers. I started deleting text message threads. You know, we be screenshotting them numbers. Even when we delete them, I deleted screenshots. Because if you're making me feel worthless, why are you in my life? I don't need anybody speaking down on me. I don't need anybody making me feel like I'm not that bitch, because I am. So why would I have somebody in my life that does not make me feel like that? Make that make sense. If it's making you feel worthless, let it go. If it's a job that's making you feel worthless, they using you, they making you do all this extra ass shit and not paying you what you deserve to be paid, let that shit go. If you with a nigga and he making you feel like you're not pretty, let that nigga go. Let it go. So the last thing I have under my mental health category is find healthy ways to cope. Sadness, funks, depressions, whatever you want to call it, find healthy ways to cope. I say this because I'm a person that I do drink. I'm more of an occasional drinker. I'll drink at parties. I'll drink if I go out. But if I'm really going through something, I don't drink. I just cannot depend on a substance to make me feel better. If I'm having fun, that's different. I'm gonna take a drink. But if I'm going through something, I can't. So find healthier ways to deal with your issues. If you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're just in a funk, if you're just not happy, find healthy ways to cope. Don't run to drugs. Don't run to alcohol. Don't run to sex. Don't run to harming yourself. Anything like that. Find things that's best for you, that's healthy. What I do is I journal. I said this before. I write down my thoughts. It can be the most random ass letter to myself. I'm just gonna write whatever I'm thinking. You can read, you can watch a movie, you can watch a comfort show. We all got a comfort show that we have watched more than once, or a movie. You know, talk to your friends, do things that's healthy, go out more, go enjoy yourself, go to a park. Whatever is best for you, find a healthy way to cope. So if you're going through something right now, try to think about something that you like, that's healthy, and do it. And see if that makes you feel better. If not, try something else. Keep trying until you find something, because I promise you're going to find something that's healthy and that you can do when you're stressed out. Even take a nap. If you know me, you know. If I'm taking a nap during the day, unless I'm just tired and lazy. Other than that, if I'm taking a nap during the day, I'm probably stressed or overwhelmed. So that's just how I do it. If somebody pissed me the fuck off, I would take me a nice little nap, have me a nice old dream, and I'll wake up with a better mindset. All right, so the next category that I have is friendships and relationships. The first thing that I have under the friends and relationship category is toxic and possessive is not cute, okay? I had to learn that because I was one of them girls that thought a toxic man popping up to my job when we break up was cute. That's crazy. I thought a man that's so possessive where he just wants you to himself is cute. That's crazy. So as I got older, I did learn that that's just not cute. It's not safe. It's not what it is. So if you in a situation where it's toxic and possessive, run. I'm not gonna lie, run. In the most safest way you can, run. You should never feel like you can't break up with somebody because they feel like it's no breaking up until they say it's done. If I say it's done, it's done. The next thing is don't ignore red flags. They will show up again. Do not ignore red flags. Ignoring a red flag could put you in a situation that you cannot get out of. If you listen to yourself, you listen to the voice in your head when you see a red flag in a boy or a girl in the beginning stages and you leave, you just saved yourself a headache. You just saved yourself torture. Because when someone shows you a red flag, you have to believe them. Don't make them flags green because they cute or the sex is good, okay? I'm talking to my younger self, by the way. Don't do that because those red flags are going to repeat itself. And there's going to be more red flags and more red flags. And by the time you keep ignoring all these red flags, now you in love. Now it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave when you in love. I'm telling you, it's hard to leave. So why not leave in the beginning where you really don't have any ties to each other? It's still in the beginning stages. It's not no love. So you can leave, because don't think that shit is going to go away, because it's not. It's only going to get worse. And if somebody is showing you a red flag you just cannot take, it's not up for debate, that's nothing that you want in your life, leave respectfully. And that's okay. It's trial and error. We're going to go through a lot of relationships before we find the one. Even when we find the one, that might not even be the one. So if something is not right for you and you feel like you just cannot take that, then leave. There's things that you can just not take. There's things that you can settle for. You know, like, okay, he do this, but I prefer this, but it's not that bad. It's not that crazy. Okay, But if it's something that you just do not stand for, it's disrespect, it's yelling at you, it's getting aggressive, if that's something that you personally cannot take, don't take it, babe. And you leave the first time you see it. Don't wait until it happen again, because it can be worse. So please do not ignore them red flags. What I learned in my 20s is that closure is a scam. Closure is a fucking scam, okay? I say this because if you're not really mentally ready for closure and you want that closure with that person, especially if you want that closure face to face, you gonna end up in a situation you don't even want to be in. Now you laid up with the nigga. Now y'all planning dates and shit. How did we get here? I came over here to end things. How did my drunk? Okay, so if you're not really mentally ready for that closure, leave it alone. Sometimes you're never gonna get closure. Sometimes you're never gonna get that sorry that you need. And that's with relationships, friendships, family members, anything. Sometimes you're just not gonna get that sorry. I hate to tell it to you. In a perfect world, you can go get your closure and leave and move on. But that's not always the case. The closure is the situation that happened, that ended y'all. That's your closure. The shit that the person did to you. That's the only closure that you need. And I'm not saying that you cannot go get closure in person to an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or somebody like that, because you definitely can. But I'm just saying, if you're not ready for it, if you're really just not ready for that closure in person, don't do it. Because it's easy to say, oh, I'm done with him or I'm done with her. Fuck him, fuck her. Man, whatever. Trust me, I've done it plenty of times. But when you see them face to face, you like, he smelled good. He's looking good. Yeah, and now you in a situation that you can't even get yourself out of. Then y'all cool for 2 more weeks and y'all back in the situation that y'all was in because the person did not change. I don't want to go get closure and ended up back in a relationship. Why are we back in a relationship? Like, and it did not work, obviously, and I look stupid. All right, the next thing I have is don't do girlfriend shit or boyfriend shit to a person that you're just talking to. Babe, I don't give a fuck if y'all talk on the phone every night, y'all go on dates, you met his parents, he met your parents, you know, y'all locked in. Like, that's babe, that's your boo. If that person did not formally ask you to be their girlfriend or boyfriend, then you owe them no loyalty. Now, there is levels to it. If you're in a dating phase, what we used to call talking, but now that we're grown, it's dating. If you're in that phase and y'all get closer and closer and y'all have that conversation that y'all are exclusive, where basically, I don't want you talking to other people, I'm not gonna talk to other people. That's different. But we're not gonna stay in this exclusive stage for too long either. But that's different. But if you are sitting here worried about talking to another man because you don't wanna, do that to the person that you're talking to, girl, that is not your boyfriend, okay? Stop doing girlfriend shit to a nigga that's not yours. Or stop doing boyfriend shit to a girl that is not yours, okay? Y'all following me? All right, so the next thing that I have under friendships and relationships is never lose sight of your individuality in a relationship. So pretty much just don't lose yourself in a relationship or a friendship. This was something that I did struggle with in the past in both relationships and friendships. I just really wouldn't have a life outside of those relationships. And that was a big problem. At the end of the day, whether you are a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a friend, a best friend, a mother, father, anything, you still have to understand that you are a person. It's good to keep that in mind and not lose yourself and not forget about the things that you like to do by yourself, or just have your own time to yourself without surrounding your life around other people. So that's something that's very important, and I'm happy that I learned that, because that was something that I was struggling with. Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't know why I was like that, but that's just how I was. Like, I don't know. I was just like that. And the last thing that I have is sometimes people just outgrow. That does not necessarily have to always be a negative thing. So I know you hear like we just grew apart as friendships or relationships. And I feel like that's valid. Like sometimes people do grow apart. Sometimes people's interests change. If you had friends from a long time ago, the things that y'all bonded over when y'all were younger are not going to be the same things that y'all bond over as you're older. And sometimes people still like those things. Sometimes people stop liking those things. And sometimes people just don't mesh anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the friendship have to be over, the relationship have to be over. It doesn't mean that it's a negative thing if the friendship or relationship does have to end. Like, I feel like some things you can just end without it being bad blood. That's how I like to end things for the most part. So yeah, like, people grow apart, people change, people like different things, people find out new things about themselves, people find out that they might not like what they thought they liked. That does not always have to be like negative energy or negative vibes when you figure that you're growing apart with the person. So that's something that I definitely had to teach myself, and just give the relationship itself grace, because things are gonna change. You really cannot avoid that. There's so many things that I used to like that I don't like anymore, and I'm not gonna fault somebody else for still liking it. I just don't like it no more, and vice versa. I'm sure there's things that I still like that people don't like anymore, and it's not my fault, it's not their fault. It's just change. It's just growth. We're getting older, and there's always room for growth. So you can't look at a relationship failing or a friendship failing just because y'all grew apart, went y'all separate ways. You can't really look at that as a bad thing or have to hate that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes shit just die off. It doesn't even have to be a reason. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about that I learned in my 20s is finances. I'm going to keep this pretty short because, Lord, this was a hard one for me, and I'm still learning things about credit and stuff like that. But the main things I can say is, if I could tell my younger self, is to take care of your credit. Please do not get department store credit cards. Like, girl, they will try to scam your ass. And yeah, that's something that I would definitely tell my younger self. And also, just always have a savings account that you don't touch. Like, you don't have to keep transferring from your check-ins to your savings and your savings to your check-ins when things get a little rough. So always make sure you have a account that you just don't touch your money, and save your money. Save, 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 and always take care of your credit. Your credit is very important. You're gonna need your credit when it's time to buy a house, when it's time to buy a car, rental property, businesses. You're just gonna need your credit. Credit is worth more than money. So if I could tell my younger self that, I would tell myself that. And that's something that I learned in my 20s. That's something that I'm still learning. So yeah. So just for some personal things that I learned, it's really not in a certain category. These are just like random things. This is a very important thing that I've learned in my 20s so far, is that nobody is going to save you. You have to save yourself. And that is just like, that is a word. Nobody is gonna save you. You gotta save yourself. And what that means is that if there's a place that you wanna get to, if there's goals that you wanna reach, if there's things that you wanna do, you have to get yourself there. You can't expect your friends to get you there. You can't expect your family to get you there, your mentors, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, anybody to get you there, because that's a personal goal that you have. That's a personal thing that you want to do. So you have to get yourself there. And I'm not saying you can't have help along the way. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to think about your goals like you think about your goals. Nobody's going to think about your business how you think about your business. And they shouldn't, and vice versa. So if you are in a situation where you feel like you're stuck, you feel like you want more, you feel like this, you feel like that, you have to pick yourself up and be strong and get yourself out of that hole and get yourself where you need to go. Nobody is gonna come save you. As bad as that sounds, that's just what it is. All right, so the next thing that I learned in my 20s is that you cannot keep using your past trauma for holding you back in the future or the present. And by that, I mean, you can't keep using certain things as excuses if you know that it's affecting you negative. This is something that was very hard for me because I really wasn't even noticing that I was using my traumas and my childhood and this and that as like a little crutch. I would just say like, fuck it, I'm this way because this is what happened. I didn't have this, I didn't have that, or this happened to me, da 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 da. Okay, girl, that's sad. Yes, it is, but you're not the only one. Everyone has things that they went through. And at the end of the day, when you step into that real world, no one gives a fuck. Don't shoot the messenger. No one gives a fuck. So I had to really tell myself like, girl, no one gives a fuck about your childhood problems. your family problems, your relationship problems. Nobody really cares at the end of the day, because you still have a chance to change. You still have a chance to heal. You still have a chance to step over those hurdles. So if you act in a certain way, you can't keep blaming that on your past or what you've been through, because you strong enough to realize that where you at is not where you want to be, or how you're acting is not how you want to act. Then you're strong enough to say, fuck what I went through. I went through what I went through. You can't change that. You can heal. You can find ways to heal. You can get professional help. But at the end of the day, you can't hold on to that. That does not define you. Your past does not define you. Your traumas does not define you. Your stress, your PTSD, whatever it is, it does not define you. So like I said, this was very, very, very hard for me to learn. And this is something that I'm still kind of learning. But at the end of the day, it's true. Like, you can't hold on to those things and expect change. If you want different, you have to be different. You have to change. If you want more, you have to go for it. You can't keep thinking about what held you back in the past, because there's a whole new world in front of you. That's a very important one for me personally, that I had to learn, and I had to really just put that in my head that I can't keep doing that. And I didn't even notice that I was doing it. But when I realized I was doing that, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And all right, so the next thing I have is to stop being such a people's pleaser. And this is something that I really was. I was such a people's pleaser. In order to avoid conflict in the past, I used to just be a people's pleaser, like just trying to make sure everybody happy, even in the expense of my own happiness. And just being a people's pleaser in general is just a scam as well, because it's like, you really can't please everybody. Everybody is not always going to be happy, and that's not your job to make everybody happy all the time. So I definitely had to stop being such a people pleaser. And the next thing is, it's okay to be selfish with yourself, and don't always be so accessible. That's kind of something that I recently learned in my mid-20s, not to be so accessible. I was always the girl that if I was talking to a boy a long time ago, and we still kind of was still cool, even though we fell off, he can always call me, and I'm always answer. Or if anybody can just call me and I'm ready to go, and if they need me to go with them somewhere, I'm ready to just jump. No, I don't need to be that accessible to anybody. There's times where I don't want to hang out. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be the person that people feel like they can just pick up and talk to when they want to. Like, no, that's just not what's going on. So if we don't talk on a day-to-day basis, don't talk to me, period. Like, you can't just call me out of nowhere and try to have a conversation. You don't know what I got going on. I can be in a whole relationship. Like, I can be engaged for all you know. So that's something that I had to stop being so accessible to these people. Like, come on, no access, okay? No access. Another thing that I want to go over is change. So something that I learned is change is not always such a bad thing. And in order to change, it's going to be uncomfortable. You can't really avoid that. And I think that's kind of like the hardest part about change, is that it's different. And that's uncomfortable, or not knowing what's going to happen and just not knowing what's on the other side. That's very uncomfortable. And that's something that I've struggled with. I still struggle with. But as I got older, I did learn that change is just going to happen. If you are scared of change, then you just not living. Like, you just can't live. You always gonna be in fear. You always gonna be living in fear, because change is always gonna happen. There's always gonna be a shift in your energy. You're gonna change the things that you like. You're gonna change how you dress. You're gonna change how you wear your makeup, wear your hair. That's just gonna happen. You're gonna change the people that you talk to. You're gonna meet new people. You're gonna get in new relationships. You're gonna get new jobs, new classes. It's just, change is change, and we cannot avoid it. Sometimes things just happen. There's life events that forces you to change, and if you have that mindset where you just have to adjust to the change, then you're gonna be good moving forward in your life, period, beyond your 20s, because you can't just be mad because something changed. You have to just ask yourself, okay, how can I adjust to this change to still feel normal, or to get to the next step, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, you have to pivot. Pivot is a big word for your 20s. You have to pivot. There's going to be shit that happens. We cannot control that. Life is not perfect. Things are going to happen, and you have to change. In order to grow, you have to change. If you want to get to another level, you have to change your bad habits. Change, change, change. And change is not a bad thing. Even if it's not comfortable to you, it's not a bad thing. So that's something to definitely keep in mind, okay? Period. The last one that I have for just like personal things that I learned is it's okay to reinvent yourself as many times as you need. It's okay to change your style. It's okay to change what you wear, the type of music that you listen to. It's okay to change. Like, don't ever feel like you have to be that person that you was in high school, or that you was years ago, or that you was even a month ago. You can always reinvent yourself. If you want a new style, go for it. You don't have to stick to what you've been wearing just because that's what you've been wearing. You are a girl that dress real girly, but now you like streetwear, you admire the streetwear look, the aesthetic, then you can do that. That's okay. It's no rule that you can't change how you dress. There's no rule that you can't change how you do your hair, how you do your makeup. It's no rule that you can't reinvent yourself. You can be a new person every month. I love to reinvent myself. I love a change. I love a new era, and I'm reinventing myself as we speak. And this next era is going to eat, okay? It's going to eat. And I'm 25. So it's okay to reinvent yourself. If you have to start back from the beginning and keep going, then that's just what you got to do. Sometimes you got to get back in the booth. It's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself. You can always hop in a new era. You can do what you want to do. Don't ever feel like you got to be that person, because people might think they know you because they knew you at a certain stage in your life, but honestly, babe, that's not you anymore. So like I said about changing, that's just a part of life, and reinventing yourself is a part of life. A person that knew me in 2018, 2019, 2020, they don't know who 2023 Morgan is, because I change all the time for the better, and it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not acting funny, but there's certain things that just don't excite me no more. So it's okay to reinvent yourself. It's giving new era. And the last thing I want to talk about that I learned in my 20s is about sex. The category is sex. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about sex, because I feel like when you're in your 20s, early 20s, that's kind of when you start really getting more into it or whatever. So the first thing that I wrote down for the sex category is women have needs just like men. That's something that I had to tell myself when I was younger. Like, don't feel bad about having sex, because just like men have needs, women have needs too, and we have to fulfill our needs as well. Now, there's ways around it. You still have to respect yourself, but at the end of the day, girls need love too, okay? Period. All right, so the next one that I have is soul ties are real. I don't know if you believe in soul ties, but I know for a fact soul ties are real. And that's just pretty much when you're having sex with people, their demons become your demons. Sex is a very, 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 very important thing. And it's nothing that should be taken lightly. And I feel like this generation just be out here fucking. And nobody really think about the psychological of sex. People just having sex and calling it a day, and then they wonder why they mad, or they wondering why they feeling a certain way. They feeling empty inside, because sometimes the things that people have going on in them, they transfer that into you. And if you out here just fucking everybody, you getting all they BS in your body and in your soul. So I truly feel like soul ties are real. And the next thing I have is, if you ever feel empty after you have sex with someone, don't double back. Do not double back. You should not feel empty after you have sex with somebody. Sex is a beautiful thing as long as you're doing it responsibly, as long as you're doing it in a respectful way for yourself. Sex is supposed to be a beautiful thing. You shouldn't have to feel empty or feel like icky about yourself after you have sex with somebody. So if that's the case, you might not want to have sex with that person, because the person that you're giving your body to should respect you and should make you feel good about what you're doing, not bad. And the next thing that I have is, when it comes to sex, you are the prize. Never be with somebody that don't make you feel like you're the prize, and never be with the person that don't put your needs before theirs. Look, y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't got to get into details, but your needs are very important. You don't want to be giving out and you're not getting that back in return. You got to get yours, okay? So make sure you're with somebody that caters to your needs and respect you as a woman and want to please you in that way. You get what I'm saying? Okay. The last thing I have is, it's okay to be celibate. So this is something that I've learned in my early 20s, is it's okay to be celibate, and I'm actually still celibate. It's been a long, long, long time since I've had sex or whatever. And I've talked about this before. It's nothing to be ashamed about. But honestly, I was feeling empty after having sex with certain people. I was feeling just not myself. And honestly, as I got older, I just got sick of the casual sex that was going on. Like, I wasn't 18 no more, 19, you know, in my hot girl era. I got older and stuff like that, and I just wanted more for myself. So honestly, that's just a journey that I went on. It's a journey that I don't regret, and I love it here. Okay, so if you feel like you have to take a break, and it's really not celibate, to be honest, it's abstinence, but you know what I mean. But if you feel like you got to take a break from sex to get yourself together, then do that. It's nothing wrong with it. And when you feel comfortable, you hop back out there. It's no rules to it. This is your life. But at the end of the day, sex should be a beautiful thing, and it should be shared with somebody that cares about you, that you care about. Now, I know that's not always the case. I know sometimes shit just happen, people get it popping, it's no strings attached. But I'm just talking about personally for me, that's not my vibes anymore. Not saying it wasn't, you know, I had my days where I was outside, okay? Auntie used to be outside, but as I'm older and I just learn more about myself, I'm learning more about my self-worth and just respecting myself more. That's just nothing that I want to do. So moving forward, it has to be the right person if I'm going to open up to them. No pun intended. So yes, that's something that I learned in my 20s along the way. That's all I got for y'all today, okay? So I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope I wasn't rambling too much, and I hope y'all learned some things about me and learned some things about being in your 20s. If you're not in your 20s yet and you're 18, 19, this is a perfect video for you because you can kind of get a glimpse of what it's like to be in your 20s. And I know everybody's 20s are different. I'm only 25, so I still have 5 more years in my 20s, and I can't say it's been ghetto as hell in my 20s, but nevertheless, it is what it is. So yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like I said, these are lessons that I learned. They have not always been learned the easy way. Sometimes I learned some of these things the hard way, and I'm still learning some of these things, and I still have so much to learn. If you have any tips about being in your 20s or what you learned in your 20s, feel free to share them in the comments. Let's interact in the comments. That's what it's all about. It's all about women empowerment and making everybody feel comfortable and just being there for each other. So if you like this video, let me know. I want to give y'all one of these style videos once a month at least. So if there's anything you want me to talk about next, just let me know in the comments or DM me on Instagram. All my socials are in my description. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if this was your first time seeing me, I hope you like the video and I hope you subscribe and join the family. Y'all stay pretty and blessed, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, bestie.
Can I be for real? This is how I feel.